Halithu Chimachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. Before we get started, make sure you like this video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell while you're at it. Alright y'all, this video is going to be very interesting. We're coming out of the first Americans, 1607 through 1690 by Thomas Jefferson Werdenbaker. He was here 1879 through 1966. Publication date 1927. Alright, so we've gone through us not being African slaves, us being here, already here. We established who were the indentures and workers and criminals that were coming over on ships bound in chains. We established who that is, who were coming over on boats, sailboats. We established who that is. Now, when these foreigners came over here, they had absolutely no clue how to take care of themselves at all. At all. It was quite sad. A lot of them were dying. A lot of them were leaving here real fast. And that's because they lacked the knowledge of self-preservation. It wasn't until they've reached these shores that they were able to finally learn how to take care of their bodies. So now that they've learned, and they had to learn it from somewhere, they learned it from the copper-colored Aborigine here in America, the ones who were already here, who we know as the Negro or the Black today, who's been misidentified as the Black today or the African American. And we know, like we said, we see in the prior video who were coming over the Atlantic. It wasn't us. So that African American, you can miss us with that. That Black, you can miss us with that. Because we know our true identity. There's no place called Black anywhere. There's no place called Africa, America anywhere. There's only the Americas, and we are the ones that were here way before anyone else. We were here from the beginning. We're the copper-colored Aborigines. We are the American Indian. And with our indigeneity and our heritage, our culture, our way of living, we established real early how to take care of ourselves, how to preserve our lives, how to not only survive on this land, but thrive. We were not wanderers. We were not scavengers. Okay? We did not live in teepees. We lived in houses, apartments. We built mounds. We had sacred places. We knew the land in and out. And we knew how to take care of ourselves. We knew what of the land would help us continue to live abundantly. So when this foreigner came, not knowing anything, he learned from us everything. And we're going to get into that right now. So here we're going to start. Move this over here. Chapter 7. The practice of physics is coming again from the so-called first Americans, the first settlers. This is their perspective. Okay? So let's get into this here. More has been done in the past half century to combat disease, allay suffering, and prolong life than in all previous history. The dread diseases which in former times swept over nations are succumbing one by one. The discovery of the origin of many maladies, the use of effective preventive measures, the production of new specifics, a better understanding of the laws of hygiene, a tremendous advance in surgical knowledge and skill. We have made our own age preeminent in the conservation of health. They said we have made, you're not talking about you and me. You hear me? They've made their own age preeminent in the conservation of health. Accustomed to this beneficent progress of science, one turns to the 17th century to find a state of mind in sharpest contrast with the opening of that century, when the English laid the foundations of their empire in where? America. There was general ignorance of the composition and the processes of the human body. That means when they came here to America to establish their empire in America, they were ignorant of the composition and process of the human body. They didn't even know how their own bodies work. This age, the age of Shakespeare and Johnson, of Francis Bacon and Galileo, was also the age of fetish cures and mysterious quack remedies, an age which discouraged anatomical study and looked with contempt upon the surgeon, the barber surgeon. That means your barber is the one that's cutting your hair is the one that's more likely gonna cut that leg off, whose lancet brought him no more prestige than his razor. So you have barbers, you have people who a barber surgeon. So either they was really good at cutting hair, or they was really good at being a surgeon, just having to cut hair on the side. I doubt, being that they're ignorant of their own body, I doubt that it was the latter. And we've seen them bowl cuts and different hairstyles and stuff that they used to rock back in the day out there. We've seen the movies, man. We see how the lancet is no more prestigious than the razor. And no shade to my brothers out there in the UK that's doing their thing. Everybody got cool hairstyles, you know. We talking about them. Now, while all Europe was tingling with the intellectual impulse given by the Renaissance, they had a lot of Renaissance going. The Reformation and the opening of the New World, the science of health remained much as it had been in the days of Charlemagne. So as they were making all this great philosophical and artistic progress, indulging in the finest arts and being revolutionary in that act. They were still in prehistoric times as far as taking care of their bodies. So how can you tell me that these people just came to Africa and just bullied thousands and thousands of people? They didn't even know how to take care of themselves. How are they gonna try to take somebody else? And come on now. You're giving a people way too much credit than they deserve. Let's be real. But it's not me discouraging or discrediting nobody. They got it written right here in front of you. All you gotta do is look. They tell you who they are and how they got to where they are now. While all Europe was tingling with the intellectual impulse given by the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the opening of the New World, the science of health remained much as it had been in the days of Charlemagne. Charlemagne was a Roman emperor, one of the first, if not the first, back in like 700s. Back in I think he passed away in the mid 700s. So they haven't had any kind of medicinal or any kind of anatomical advancements, science as far as the body and how the body works. They had no kind of knowing, and over until they got here, which was damn near what? That was 700, 900 years, almost 1,000 years. They haven't advanced. They haven't figured out what worked from the rooter to the tutor in over 1,000, almost 1,000 years until they came here. Come on, man. Where is this superiority coming from? Let's keep going. The chief cause of error was the belief widely accepted for many centuries that disease is caused by diabolic influence. What? It is demons which produce famine, unfruitfulness, corruptions of the air, pestilence. Okay, well we see what's going on. Said Origen and Saint Augustine agreed that all diseases of Christians should be ascribed to these demons. Okay, so it's the religious leaders that are hindering the growth of medicine. From this conception to a condemnation of the use of medicines, you see, was an inevitable step. It was worse than futile to apply natural remedies to supernatural ills. They called it supernatural ills. Gregory of Nazianzen declared that pain being inflicted by devils should be cured by the laying on of consecrated hands. Saint Ambrose considered it sinful to resort to medicine instead of trusting to the intercession of saints. Oh man. So you gotta get, you hurting, something going on, you know something's going on, but the law says you a Christian? Nah, bro. You don't need this painkiller. You don't need this numbing agent. Yeah, just go on over there to Brother Tony. Let him lay hands on you. Man. St. Ambrose considered it sinful to resort to medicine instead of trusting to the intercession of saints. Martin Luther. Everybody knows who Martin Luther is. And we ain't talking about the king. Shared these opinions, declaring that pestilence, fever, and other severe diseases are not else than the devil's work. So if you sick, you sick, man, you got the flu, you got that man, that's the devil's work right there. You need to go to church. You need to go to church. You don't need to go to the doctor. You need to go to church. So anyway, man, let's stop right here. We're gonna pause for the cause, and then we're gonna get to the other side of where we're trying to take this here. So this is where, just to basically summarize this part, we can see that they were not advanced in medicine and the anatomy at all. Okay, so we're gonna go in a little deeper and see where they began to become such a preeminent force here. All right. Hey y'all, once again, just a reminder that the instrumentals here come from YBH. Y'all be sure to check him out. That's YBH. His credentials and everything are in the description below. And also in the descriptions, you have my different social medias. You can follow me on X and you can follow me on TikTok. I'm mostly on X, so you come in that way. You let me know that you're from the channel, and I'll follow you back for sure. And from there, hey, the messages are open. Any requests or anything I can help with as far as information goes, I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can. So all right, y'all, we're gonna get to this next part. Oh yeah, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Don't forget to do that, y'all. Help the channel grow, help this community grow. We need that. All right, y'all, so we're going forward, page 70, the second paragraph here. This is going to bring a little more clarity. It says the colonists, now we're fast forwarding here to the Americas. The colonists themselves, filled with superstition, valued highly the hocus pocus, gotta throw shade, hocus pocus of the Indians, and the medical men were pronounced as able physicians as any in Europe. So that means that the Indians here, the American Indians, the copper-colored Aborigines of this land, were very skilled, but they wanted to throw a little shade at us, so they called it the hocus pocus. That's because they asses didn't understand what was going on. They didn't even know how their own body worked, so how they gonna call somebody else's craft hocus pocus? Hocus pocus sounds very superstitious. And you see, it was the religious powers that was holding them back. A lot like what they try to do to our people today. They try to use religion to hold us back. Now, I'm not saying you have to not believe in a religion or believe in a religion, but you better believe in yourself, and you better know who you are and where you come from. First, among all things, know yourself. All right? But anyway, enough stalling. They like to use this word, the savages, and we turn that word. That's another word that along with the so-called N-word and everything else. We've flipped everything on them. You know, that's how we do. And we even today in 2024, savages. When we go savage, when we get savage on somebody, you know what I mean? That's for us. That's beast mode. That's you know, we already know. We on 10 when we on that savage zone. You know what I mean? So, but they want to call us savages. This was degrading back in the day, you know, and that's something that we got to understand. They never wanted to refer to us in a positive way, but they wanted to claim everything of ours. It says the savages used herbs for cathartics and emetics and as remedies for various diseases. These medicines were soon borrowed by the white men, some actually being sent to Europe, some medicines being sent to Europe, where they came into wide repute. Tobacco, and we know who the tobacco Indians are. We know who cultivated and helped cure and turn tobacco into a number one booming industry in the colonies. We know who those copper-colored Aborigines were and what they look like. Tobacco, which was supposed by the Indians to possess extraordinary medicinal powers, was used by the English as a specific for a number of maladies. It was thought to be a sure antidote for all poisons and to have the power of expelling rheums and sour humors. As for healing wounds, it was better than St. John's wort, hitherto accounted the sovereign remedy. Some persons used it in cases of gout or ague. I'm not sure what that is. I might want to look at that. AGUE. Look that up and see what the heck that is. It sounds painful though, if they're putting it in with gout. It says others to relieve hunger and weariness. Okay. Helps you with the munchies. Kind of reminds me of the herb we got today. Or to neutralize the effects of drunkenness. See? So we taught them this. This is what we taught them. This is what we showed them. All right? So let's see. So we're going to stop right there, and then we're going to move forward to another part. All right? Hey, y'all, if y'all still here and y'all rocking with me, like I said, be sure to like this video. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're new, you're seeing this for the first time. And leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this. Alrighty, let's get back into it. Alright, y'all, so we're gonna wrap it up with this last bit of the passage. And this may hit home for some folks. And you gotta understand, when you hear this is what they came from. This is what they've taken, and this is what they've done. And this is how they do things still today. So let's read this. It says, so conversant with the great variety of nature that not a drug or simple can escape him, whose powers and virtues are known so well to him, he needs not practice new experiments upon his patients, except it be in desperate cases when death must be expelled by death. This also is praiseworthy in him, that to the poor he always prescribes cheap but wholesome medicines, not curing them, of a consumption in their bodies, not curing them of a consumption in their bodies, and sending it into their purses, nor yet directing them to the East Indies to look for drugs when they may have far better out of their gardens. I mean, that speaks a lot. That's a lot in itself right there. Dissect that how you want. In Virginia, the most noted physician was Dr. John Pott. This man acted as physician general for the colony and was active during the terrible epidemics which swept over the infant settlement during the early years of the century. He is described as a master of arts, well practiced in surgery and physics, an expert also in distilling of waters and possessing many other ingenious devices. On one occasion, he made use of his accomplishments to poison a number of hostile Indians, a feat which drew upon him the displeasure of the Earl of Warwick. A letter from Charles Gordon to his brother Dr. John Gordon gives an interesting picture of conditions prevailing in the medical profession in New Jersey in the 9th decade of the century. It says, if you design to come hither yourself, he says, you may come as a planter or a merchant or as a doctor of medicine. I cannot advise you, as I can hear of no diseases here to cure, but some eggs, ogs, however you say that, and some cutted fingers and legs, but there are no want of empirics for these already. I confess that you could do more than any yet in America, being versed in surgery and pharmacy. For here are abundance of herbs, shrubs, and trees, and no doubt medicinal ones for making drugs. But there is little or no employment this way. Now, by this little passage in itself, you see what they were doing, man. We showed them how to get down, and then they just went and took that shit another mile. Started using it against us. Biological warfare. And we already know. Those who know what's going on. And if you don't know what's going on, look on my channel. Look on my channel. Just scroll and you'll see different things that's been happening as far as them doing what they be doing. Okay? So I was gonna stop there, but let me go a little further for y'all. It's a little extra. It says, and I'm giving it to y'all just as it given to you in the book. In New York, it was said that quacks abound like the locusts in Egypt. Why would they say that? Why would they say that? Locusts in Egypt. Quacks abound. These quacks, fake doctors, these torturers, these abusers of medicine abound like the locusts in Egypt. They were becoming a plague upon our land, and they were poisoning our people. like locusts in Egypt. May I remind you, this book was written in 1927. And this book talks about the first Americans, the first so-called Americans, which are, as we know, according to the book, English immigrants, European immigrants. Okay. All right. Let's finish off here. Well, I said I was going to stop earlier, but I'm going to give it to y'all. And too many have recommended themselves to a full practice and profitable subsistence. In the colonies, medical practice was not regulated as in England. They did not regulate medical practice out here. Anybody can call themselves a practitioner. Where every accredited doctor belonged to the College of Physicians. Says the governments seldom concerned themselves with the training of the practitioner. No licenses were required. That man did not need a license to poison those Indians. He did not need a license to take our herbs and use them against us. There's no practice of it. This is where medicine started. Their medicine out here started. This is how it started. This is what they think has made themselves so preeminent, so superior. Look up what the word preeminence means. They thought that they were superior than anything else that came before them because they took something that wasn't theirs and called it their own. All right, let's keep going. The government seldom concerned themselves with the training of the practitioner. No licenses were required, and anyone who had a superficial knowledge of medicine was at liberty to put up his sign. The extent of his practice would be determined by his success with his patients. If his treatments were ineffectual, he was deserted. But a tolerable degree of skill would ensure him a fair living in the more thickly settled communities. Man, that's what they was dealing with. But they wasn't able to even do that had they have not learned from us. Okay. But anyway, this is what it is. I mean, I hate to end it on a note like that, but that's the true story. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And a lot of things that's happening back then is still happening today. Best believe that. So just continue to be vigilant. Continue to take care of yourself. You know, it's hot outside. Make sure you're staying cool. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you have all of your essential nutrients. And don't be afraid to go out in the sun. Go out and get some sunlight. Because we are carbon melanated structures. We are in need of vitamin D. We are in need of the sunlight. So Don't be afraid to go outside. Just make sure you stay hydrated, keep yourself cool, and just stay healthy. Continue to preserve your life. Continue to thrive in this life. All right. So once again, this is Chief Steve signing off. Be sure to like this video, comment, let me know how you feel. Share this information. And we'll see you on the next one.